everyone, and welcome to Pass the Mic. I'm here with this amazing man today. I wish you could see this view. It's incredible. We're right here in Redondo by the beach. John Tebbens. John, say hello to the world.
Hello, world. And this is a pretty amazing view, too.
This is awesome. This is very awesome. I'm so glad to be here with John. He's done some amazing things, and we're going to dive into that in a little bit. But first, John, what's our song we're doing today?
Well, there's a song that I love by Peter Gabriel called Shaking the Tree.
Shaking the Tree. Oh, all right.
Let's shake the tree.
Let's shake the tree, baby.
Sumayoga, Suyoga.
We are shaking the tree.
Bum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, bum. Sumayoga, Suyoga.
We are shaking the tree. Shake, shake, shake that baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sumayoga, Suyoga.
We are shaking the tree. That was your song for the week, for you to shake the tree in your life and find out what falls out. So, John, how have you been?
I have been amazing. I'm actually finding my life to be hard to believe, but it's a good place to be.
I love that. Now, are you originally from Chicago?
I'm originally from where all this Star Matter and all this stuff is from.
He's from the universe. Yes,
that's right. But I did, depending on what level you're vibrating, I did come out of a womb in Chicago.
It's nice you came out of a womb.
Right, instead of an egg. Although the dinosaurs must have been great.
Yeah, I think so. They were pretty cool. And now, what prompted you to move to Southern California?
I had so many things calling me here. I was fourth generation Chicago firefighter. So there is 4 generations of the same, right?
Right.
So they got really good at that. In fact, anytime you get so much repetition, you tend to get lazy and you don't tend to really live life and scare yourself with new risky things.
Well, some would say a firefighter,
yeah,
it's not like, kick back having a pina colada.
Right.
There is definitely a lot of risk, but I get that. So your father's father was a fireman. So was
great grandfather Chicago Fire.
Okay.
And then my grandfather was a firefighter. My father actually made it through the ranks to battalion chief.
He was big stuff.
Yeah, my uncle was a captain.
Wow.
My brother is still on the job and he's a lieutenant.
So you're like Blue Bloods, but the show Blue Bloods is a family of cops, but you're a family of firefighters.
Yeah, there's some cops in there too, and I didn't want to be a cop. Fire was one of those things where I understood it. People can be crazy, right? It's hard to understand what's going on, and you might think you got it all done. So I know it's hard to be a cop, but I don't agree
it's
with
intense.
a lot of the stuff that they do.
So did you wake up one morning as a fireman and say, you know what, I'm done?
Actually, the universe has given me this amazing journey, and the journey started back. I actually resigned and took early retirement from the Chicago Fire Department back in 2003.
Okay.
March 16th of 2003.
And now, how long had you been a firefighter?
For 15 years.
Oh my!
Yeah.
All right. So you knew kind of like what you were doing.
I did. There's something. So either the years of being adapting to it, or there's something about something in my DNA that allows us to just keep our head in risk, keep our head in a situation that most other people would be going,
That's a unique skill to have if you're going to be a firefighter.
You need that. You can't be running out before, if you're going into the house.
Lady, get off of me.
That's right. And some people were tested, and some people found out that they weren't firefighters, or they weren't yet firefighters.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Right?
That takes that takes a lot of heart and courage from a whole nother space of being able to be there, be present, and being mindful. Because even if you're present and you're out of control, you're not helping a situation get better. You're part of the problem in the situation.
Right. I think all of these have just been my little slumdog millionaire way of unfolding in life, because the courage that it takes to do that is the courage of a warrior. In a warrior's heart, there are things in their soul have to be in order. So every day must be the day that you're willing to go. Every day you have everything ready to go. No regrets. No things that you wish that you would have done or could have done. No things that you know that you lied about. So I think
no things that you know that you lied about.
You lied about that you cheated someone, that you stole, that anything. Just an honest life, living in truth. And truth, I think, is just another word for God. At least for me, it is. Love is another word for God.
So I'm just speculating that you had a spiritual practice to be that mindful, because I never thought about a firefighter from that point of view, or a policeman, that because any day you walk out the house, anyone can. It could be your last day, but there are particular careers that increases, and definitely with a firefighter, you charge into 2,000 degree flames.
Well, at the ceiling, baby.
Okay.
The ceiling, which is why we're all the way down the floor.
But it sounds good, 2,000.
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be over 1,000 degrees at the ceiling.
Yeah, and so you're saying that when you were in this world, that you were prepared every day for, if this was it, you didn't have any regrets.
Right.
You didn't lie to anybody. So all of you that know him, he didn't lie to you.
Any of those things, they have it in order. People see. That's one of the things that I think people are confused, and some of the reason why they're confused is because of the way that the words are used. But if you think of every religion or every spiritual practice in the world, and think of one of those old-fashioned projectors, where you set the clear transparencies on top of it and project it in the classroom. I don't know if maybe I'm just way too old for that. You may be. Yes, no, I am definitely. That's
I heard.
You heard, right? If you were to overlay every one of those clear transparencies, there's certain things that are there, or that are present in everything. And when you use a word like commandment, it sounds like, I told you not to eat those cookies. Well, cookies are good. And you don't understand why you can't have a cookie as a kid. So you think commandments are not necessarily good things. But when I realized it wasn't a commandment as much as it was a guide to freedom, to true freedom.
Now, let me connect the dots for everyone out there.
You're sorry.
No. He thinks there's just he and I. We do this. It's beautiful.
Hey, you. Thanks for stopping by.
So there was a point in your experience as a firefighter that you recognized that the truth of your life was in every moment that you were living. And to do I don't want to call them little things, but people do lie. They tell little white lies. We do have regrets. Oh, I wish I had gone here and I didn't do that. So there was a calling, I'm assuming, from within you, that at some point you had done some of that, but there was another level that you were reaching for, another experience in your life that was calling you.
Well, from early on. I remember being just astonished at one point in time as a young teenager, astonished that the most important thing in the world, in our family, my mom, my dad, what is wrong with them? Why haven't we talked about this? Why haven't we ever talked about God? I went to church and things like that, but that wasn't that was like, showing up at the ball without dancing or something. I don't know what that was.
Your Sunday best on.
Right. That was a show, and that was they were, and in fact, I remember seeing their confusion. It's like, well, we're doing this. Well, why are you doing this? Well, we're doing this because we should do this for our children, at least so they have. And I know they tried with everything they had, and all of your parents, there's no manual, so they tried probably to be the best parents they could, or they just didn't know what to do with you. But either way, forgive them for not knowing and doing as much as they did, but let that go and come forward with us right now. Shake the tree, fall out of the tree, fall far from the tree, right? To be an apple that falls far from the tree, roll down the hill. I don't know why I did that.
It's all good. So you find yourself that you decide, I'm going to retire, and
well, it was an. I'm sorry for interrupting you. It was an act of what we're talking about here. It was a matter of conscience. It was a matter of not betraying who I am. I was in a situation where I had seen some injustices. I had come forward about those injustices, and they were more concerned about appearance and how it would look, and I was concerned about the injustice being corrected and making things right. Not right as in like red state, white, right wing, right as in do the right thing, right livelihood, right. So this was something where if I couldn't come to work and be proud of what I did anymore, I had to resign. So it was hard to do. That had to
affect your family, because and I'm sure you as well. That's got to be just a huge elephant walking in the room for everyone, feeling, I would even say maybe depressed and sad that this was a choice that you chose. Or were they supportive? I'm speculating. Were they like, okay, we get it, John?
My family thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Because I believe in God at all. They hate the fact that I believe in God. They're like, John, we tested, so, we're all geniuses, blah, 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 blah. Intelligent people don't believe in God. Who said? Through my intelligence, I see God everywhere, every day, and every moment, in this, in that.
Newton.
In this moment, look at this, in this, look at somebody put that together and decided to put that on. Oh,
yeah,
right.
And everything. There are some amazing scientists that are brilliant that have helped our country in so many ways that believe in God.
Yeah.
Some people don't call it that, but whatever. So you made this choice. You decided, okay, this is not working for me.
Yeah. So they asked me to lie. To make something go away.
Right.
And I said, okay. Then everybody's like, John, this is healthcare, this is pension, this is $100,000 a year job. How can you walk away from this? I've seen people walk away from it when they've had something better, but you're walking away literally into just a matter of principle, into nothing. Into nothing.
Yeah.
And it literally meant at one point in time I had no money but to actually ride my bicycle everywhere. So I became like superhuman, and I had all this time to reflect while I'm on my bicycle ride. I mean, all this creative stuff would happen, and just everything opened. Everything opened.
Was there a sense, even though you went through the valleys and the peaks as you made this transition, was there a sense of inner this is right for me, that you just felt a joy and a sense of peace?
Not right away. Okay. I mean, so I was angry.
Yeah.
I was angry that I even had to make the choice.
Okay.
Why is doing the right thing getting this much resistance?
Right.
Why does someone want to snuff it out? Why does someone want to kill it? Why does somebody want to kill something that's beautiful?
Right.
Why does anyone, when they see a sandcastle that somebody spent all day building, why do they go over and jump on it? Why do they do that?
something calls you like, oh, I just want to run through it.
Right, well, maybe.
I just want to just knock it down. But I don't know why people do that. I'm not saying I do that. But there is that, I don't know. Why we do that?
I think some of that is to have it for yourself. Imagine if, so you see some beautiful flowers walking on the street.
Yes.
Imagine if everyone says, that is so beautiful, I want to take that home with me.
Yes.
And they grab that flower.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there are only 12 flowers on that plant.
Yeah.
And if 12 people go by, the 13th person does not have that experience. So you've taken
not from that plant, but yes.
From that plant, right?
Yeah,
you haven't taken
plant,
right.
yes.
So walking through that thing, someone who might have been just like, oh well, what I'm going through doesn't make any sense. Oh, but look at how beautiful that is, to take you back, those little reminders of. For me, that's God. I think the reason why God is an uncomfortable word is because so many times in history it's been used as a bludgeon.
Very true, and it's been used as I want to say a control,
a coercive
factor.
tool.
A fear-based punishment. You don't
you don't agree with me? Oh, well, then you're not agreeing with God. It's like, oh my God, so this is all about you. I feel sorry for you, but God's on my side. If God's on everybody's side, how can that be?
And you're
they
going
have a
to
side.
hell.
Right. Oh, come on.
So, I love that. That's really, it's a beautiful thing. It's an uncomfortable space to be in, because it's like the butterfly. You were the caterpillar at that time, not knowing that you would metamorphose into something even more beautiful, but just trying to make it through. So at some point, there was something that hit you that started your feet to move towards Southern California.
Okay, yes, that was the original question, wasn't it?
I gotta keep this guy on point.
It's all connected. I completely get lost. How could I not? Right? It's all this just big sea of stuff. Okay, so I don't know. Things just started to unfold for me. So I met a kayak instructor.
Okay.
Had her as a girlfriend long enough to be so interested in kayaking that I realized I must have been a kayaker in a past life, because I took to it like a dolphin to water.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I say dolphin because dolphins were on the land, looked around and said, screw this. They went back to some place where they can play and be free. But and we're there. We're getting to the place where we can play and be free, and that's amazing. So part of my reason to come here was to play and be free. But I have 7 kayaks.
Oh wow!
I'm certified as a kayak instructor.
Oh, how beautiful!
Yeah. I learned on the Great Lakes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And then
the Pacific's not that shabby either.
No. So I was talking to this one person. And she said, oh, wait, I have to get an email. My friend and I are going to Hawaii. And I said, really? How much does that cost me? Right? And it's just like this. Everybody wants to go for vacation.
Right.
You see it's on the game shows.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like
Hawaii.
Right?
Come on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go.
Right. So she said $849. I said, oh, for the airfare back? And she said, no, the whole thing on the beach for a week. Airfare to and from. I was like, oh my gosh, I'll come up with $849. I'll go with you right now.
I can do that.
Right. I don't even know where it's coming from. I manifested it out of thin air. I was able to do it and stayed on the beach for a week. Rented a surfski, which is an ocean racing kayak.
Okay. Right.
And I was on the water the whole time. I met some Hawaiian people there. And they literally gave me 20 minutes. John, meet us in 20 minutes. I was like, 20 minutes? That's not even enough time to brush my teeth. And that's where the beard first came from, because I didn't have time to shave to stay with the Hawaiians. Right?
That's hilarious, because we're told how Hawaiians have their own rhythm. They do things not just like, I'll be there at 8. They may not get there to 9:30. They're in no rush. So the fact that they were telling you, come on, dude.
Well, the thing is that maybe that's true, and they put on their schedule, call John to give him enough time to come, and they were late doing that, which is why I got the late notice and had to be there in 20 minutes. So having experienced the ocean in a kayak, when I came back to Chicago, in Paddleton Lake, Michigan is majestic of a great lake. It's called Great Lakes for a reason. 25-foot waves, 50 mile an hour. I mean, there's some serious stuff that happens there. It still didn't feel as if I was home. I needed to. Well, this is Mother Earth to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Earth is what, 80% water? So that's Mama Ocean.
That is Mama
That's
Ocean,
my
that
mother.
Pacific out there.
Yeah, so that's my mother. So every time I get a wave come up and she gets both feet wet, that's a big double sloppy kiss from Mama Ocean. I know what that
I
is.
love that, a double sloppy kiss. How sweet is that?
So I had to be near the ocean. Because of the kayaking, I would do 12 or so miles. I'd come off the water, and I'm already in neoprene, so I look like a superhero. In fact, I was on my way out, and this little girl at the end of the hall, her name was Lucy. She was 7 years old. She was there to visit somebody else, and I just came out, and I had my paddle on one hand, right?
Yeah.
And my vest with all the tools on it, and the rest of the skin tight stuff, you know, and I'm locking the door, right?
Yeah.
And so she says, "Are you a superhero?" I said, "No, not yet, but I'm trying." And she was
sweet.
like, "Well, you could be." She went into this whole thing to
Out of the
encourage
mouths
me
of babes.
to be a superhero.
I love that.
So I've been working on it. Thank you, Lucy.
He's right there. He's right there.
I'm getting close.
So I'm gonna fast forward
Okay.
to the fact that you got into a career that the world says, if you don't get into it young,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
my agent was saying the same thing. Well, that's actually where I was going with the neoprene tight whatever thing. The girls in the building there,
Right.
that was right on the beach. I'd come back, every muscle is pumped. I just did 12 miles in a kayak, right? So I am carrying it on one side and on the other. So it's like some scene out of a movie already, right? I was carrying the thing off the beach, you know, the right stuff or whatever. And it's like, "Oh, John, we made guacamole. Here's some fresh watermelon. Come sit here. And here's my friend." You know, so for like 3 weeks, they're saying, "You should be a model. You should be an actor." And then one time I came up and they had 2 tables pushed together, and this is my friend Shelley. So they said, "Shelley, John, Shelley," and I said, "Shelley, can you believe they keep telling me I should be like an actor or a model?" She said, "Actually, because of the way that you interact with people, I already thought you were an actor, but you could definitely work in modeling, and I do voiceover. So here is my acting, my
universe.
agency. Yeah, the universe." And then the oddest thing happened for about 6 weeks after that. And I did go there, and they signed me for print, and they said,
how beautiful.
Such an expressive face, take acting classes." So I did, and I got in a theater there, and then I was in for 2 different things, and up for 2 different things, and one paid and one didn't, so
wow.
I went with the one that paid.
Of course, that makes that's always yummy.
Right? And then...
Now you're a professional.
Yeah, right. Oh, and so my friend's like, "Who does that?" And they're in their 40s, reinvents themselves. "I'll call you a model when you get your first paycheck." When I got my first paycheck for being a model, she was crying, and she threw this little party, and she's like, "Who does that? Oh, sad. That doesn't happen to anybody." But for weeks, people would come up to me in a store, and I thought somebody was screwing with me. I would look to see if one of the other people were screwing with me. "Where do I know you're from? You're an actor." "Where do I know you from? You're an actor." I would have kids come out. So I don't know where deja vu comes from. I don't know how many times the universe has breathed this breath in and breathed this breath out.
Yes.
But I have come to realize that was me having made it as an actor to the point where I was being recognized in public. And these people were just remembering it from the Akashic record or from, from the universe as it is. There's no time. Time is something we invent because the earth spins and all that stuff. Oh, well, because the ocean, the word time actually comes from the word tide. Good tidings, good times.
Okay. I did not know that word came from tide.
That's why clocks have 12. So where's
Yeah.
the tide? The tide's slow at
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
And the tide happens in 12s. That's right. And
Well,
that's
so
high
that's
tide.
also the sun, because my correlation with time is from the Egyptians. They used the sundial,
Mhm.
which was also 12 o'clock straight up. Oh, wait a minute. Look, I'm blocking myself.
Here, I got it. I'm so helpful.
He's a giver. But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the word time came from it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Does that make
beautiful.
sense? Then you
That
can
makes
see
sense.
the clock is spinning down. That means the clock it's going towards, and then the tide is coming up. That's
Right.
why we had the dial the way that it is.
Right.
So that was
I
just to
mean,
let us know.
nature is amazing in that regard. That, you know, I remember one day I was hiking and realized, like, oh my goodness, we get all of our colors from flowers.
Oh yeah.
It blew me away. I know it's a simple thing, but it was like, oh my God. I just started to cry. It's so beautiful that nature gives us so much.
Right.
And so
We are nature, though.
we are.
We're not disconnected. It's not out there. It's in here.
I agree, 100%. There's the one, and we are that. We are the
created
flower, we're the, yeah.
in its, his, them, we's own image, right?
Right.
And that doesn't mean I have blue eyes and blonde hair, and come on, Jesus was black, people. I mean, he lives in the desert. You got to know that, right?
But he had more color. I'm going to say that for doggone sure.
But the own image is heart, and people don't understand that heart means the center, at the core of your being, of all beings, of all things, is this core, this source. Source is a word. Core, heart of palm isn't because it's shaped like an organ in your chest. We call the organ in our chest a heart, because that's about where the center of us is, where we feel something. When we feel heartache, we feel it with our whole being. We feel it in our
Emotions
body.
and feelings that we have in our body. I believe our emotions and our feelings are beautiful guides for
Yeah.
us. They let us know when we're disconnecting ourselves from that which is all.
Right. Or
And-
when we're coming back.
Or when we're coming back, we know what it feels like to feel good. We also know what it feels like not to feel good. And I think all of it serves us for our greater expression of who we are. But learning that we don't have to run from something that makes us not feel good. There's a gift in that moment that's available, you know. But if we focus on what has brought us there, it takes a minute to know what the gift is, because we're too involved in what is, what's happened, and not open to listening to the universe saying, take this step, open
Right.
this door.
Right. Well, also that feeling bad.
Yeah.
Trace back. What did you just do? Well, I ate a whole bag of greasy potato chips. No wonder I feel bad. Okay, well, don't do that anymore. I mean, it's that simple. You want to be good, step back and see. But those moments where you start to come back are kind of like, that when you're watching some boring movie, or you're tired and you're in some lecture, and you don't realize that you fell asleep until you caught yourself and woke yourself up. You drifted into that drifting away from goodness. And then the trick is waking up sooner, getting there to the place where you go, oh, I just fell asleep again.
Well, now, I think that's a beautiful point, and I want to talk about that, because I think that consciousness is really waking up now. I think that the chaos and the turmoil is the awakening of consciousness. I feel like we're in the Star Trek era. And I didn't look at Star Trek as a kid. I look at it more now and see its prevalence. But I think that the consciousness of all of mankind is really being awakened.
Sure. Called the Skinner box, because
Okay.
named after, I think it's B.J. Skinner, the person. I don't know what the sorry if I get it wrong. Skinner anyway was the scientist who invented this box, and it was for behavioral training.
Oh, okay.
So they did all sorts of things. Only when the rat or the monkey or whatever touches the bar does a food pellet drop. Okay. Right. Not looks at it, but I mean that's how they get their attention towards that thing in the beginning. But after that, a look won't work. Now it's only a touch. Then it's only a push. Okay. So they get to the point where they push it and a pellet comes down. Well, they did this with things that were addictive, like cocaine.
Yeah, I remember this study.
You've heard of this, okay?
I have.
So this is what happens, though. What do you think happens when they press the button and no cocaine comes down?
They
Do
keep pressing.
Exactly. In fact, they go more on the beach. And all these crabs were coming up, and there was this family. This was just last Sunday. This family was there with little kids. So it was a little girl, and it was a Mexican family, and they came over, and then the mother came over. She was really interested in the little crabs, and as we saw the one crab, we found 3 more in one. So they must have been coming up to breed or whatever.
Right.
But the father, being all fatherly and protective, said he started to try and pick it up and put it back in the water. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "It's got to go back. It's got to go back where it came from." I said, "What are you doing? Are you trying to be Donald Trump?" And they all started laughing. I was like, "Okay, no, don't tell it to go back where it came from. It came here for a reason. It might be trying to have some safe place for its children." So I'm a troublemaker.
You can't take him anywhere. So, what would you share with people that, because you had a career that most people would say, hey, like you said, you're a firefighter, you got benefits, you've got a great salary, you're what some people would call, your life was set, in the financial aspect of things. And then something takes place and you decide, I'm ready to move on. And then you move into an industry that is here, there, everywhere. There's no concrete floor to it.
Right.
But the creative aspect of it is just, it fills your heart with joy. And you meet people, it looks like effortlessly, that every step of the way.
Yeah.
So
the handoff, the handoffs have been, it's as if I'm stepping with faith onto thin air. With each footstep, I feel I'm surely going to fall to my death. And then, right at the last minute, and I think God is a prankster. I think God is a playful
Very
prankster, playful. Just like, you thought it would be there. You thought yes, you did. Oh, all your faith talking, so you thought it was going to be there, and then it was like, I got you. And you're like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I did. I didn't worry. I don't know why I worried.
Right.
Worry is such a waste of time.
Such a waste of time.
Oh.
We all do it. And I think this is one of the things, I call it the old paradigm now. I'm calling it the old paradigm. Worry, the doubt, as an entertainer, as a performer, from a little tyke, you're taught that that's a dangerous career, that you're going to struggle. These things are implemented before you even start to create something. This is the call, versus a child that says, hey, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. You got to go to school.
Wow,
but that's
those are
a
the
great...
three. Aren't those the three that every parent tells you to be? I want you to be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. I don't want you to follow the guy home with a lunchbox. I want you to follow the guy who's got a briefcase.
Exactly.
And
so we have generations of artists that have lived a struggle that I think it's time for us to let go of that. We, artistry, creative communities, the world would not be what it is without your sculpture, your art, your music, your movies, your paintings, your books, your poetry, every aspect of creativity, your animation, everything allows for each of us to relax and, to me, actually bend into the presence of spirit sometimes. It allows the mind to stop and to enter into that kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, well, the kingdom of heaven, it has no end. We're in the midst of it. It's as ridiculous to say that heaven doesn't exist than it is for it's tantamount to a fish being in the middle of the ocean, and just because they're a fish and the ocean is clear, they say, I don't believe in the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just you don't believe in the ocean. The water that's in the ocean is actually in the eyes that you're using to try to discern that you don't see it. How can you not? You are the ocean. You are nature. We're not separate from that. And I want to. I would go one step back. You say the old.
Yes.
I think the old is relative.
Absolutely.
I'm saying we're going back to the ancient, because the old is more like the rat in the Skinner box. What were you about to say?
No, go ahead. My reference to the old is that we are birthing into a new consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
That the old paradigms, for me, the reason that there is so much chaos, that there is this fear panic button that's being pushed, because people, if you're not in touch with yourself, with the divine, with the higher presence, which is always here in my world, and I believe in everyone's, but if you are not, then it looks as though the world as you know it is coming to an end. The world as you know it is evolving to a new. I think these are just the most amazing times. This evolution that's taken place it's mind-blowing. And when I think about like Star Trek and some of the other science fiction movies, that somebody had tapped into that before we as a consciousness were ready to birth into it.
Well, they were there, though.
They were there.
Yeah, they were already there.
It's always, this has always been here.
It's always been ancient.
Yeah.
It's always been available to you.
Always.
God has, God, what kind of God would be outside our arm's reach? God is right there when you need him, it, she, us, them, whatever.
Always.
But the fear thing, you asked me, and I don't know that I ever got around to answering it, the part about how do you leave a $100,000 year job with all the... It's because, and you said it looks like it's all coming to an end. So I want to tie those two concepts together.
Okay.
It is coming to an end. That's what I was talking about. I was at the end of what you are all still thinking of as being real. And when I put my foot down, something was there. So my end was actually under the other foot that wasn't reaching forward. That was the end. It's the end. Okay, there's nothing you're moving into. So move into new. Be at that place, like at the ocean, where the air mixes with the sea, mixes with the sand. That frothy little edge that's always moving. That's the place to be. There's no other place to be. So the Skinner box analogy. The reason why the Skinner box works is we become to believe these things. That my pressing a pellet is why I get food. Not because God put food on the planet for everybody and it grows out of the ground from seeds that blow or get pooped out of an animal someplace. I mean, and fertilized. That's the seed's favorite meal is poop. I mean, it's like, how crazy. This whole thing is perfect already. But so the I liken that situation to being in a cave. We've been living in a cave for, in my case, 3 generations. Okay.
Yeah.
Living there for 3 generations. It's dank. It's dark. There's bat crap all over the place. There are cockroaches. There are spiders. I don't know. I mean, it's dark. It's like, ew. There's no place for us to sleep. We're all always in each other's way. We're grumbly and grouchy, right? And you say, you know what? I'm just going to go. And I go, no. Don't go. No one ever comes back.
Exactly.
For crying out loud, they never come back. It's sunny outside. There are flowers. There are blueberries. There's just this abundance. There's the beautiful sea, the beautiful clouds, the skies, bees, hummingbirds. Of course they never came back. They didn't come back because something horrible happened.
Exactly.
To them. They didn't come back because who would come back there? You may have gone in there for a good reason initially with your family. They were trying to be that good parent, like the guy trying to put the crab back, not knowing that he was actually interfering with it, but trying to protect them from maybe a horrible thunderstorm or hurricane that came. But that was just that one day.
Yes.
every day after that, for 3 generations, there wasn't a thunderstorm or a hurricane every day. You could have gone back outside at any point in time. No, we got to stay in here. We got to stay in here. This is the only place that's safe. You can only, how can you walk away? What will you do? How, you have nothing. You're walking away into nothing. Nothing, nothing good can come from that.
Yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous. Even my agent said to me last week, he said, yeah, and this is unusual. You people usually don't make it in their mid-50s and do as well as you are in acting. But I said, well, I remember when I was saying, can I do this? And I had someone encourage me, and they said, well, look at Morgan Freeman. He did it when he was older.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, well, now they're just going to say, well, look at John Tebbens.
Exactly.
He did it when he was older.
Exactly.
Right?
And you are that role model for people, and that's one of the beautiful things as consciousness is awakening. People are starting to see that, hey, this is happening for other people. If it's happening for John, it could happen to me. That little
it is
window.
Happening to you. It's happening to you through me. It's happening to you through Gino, but it can happen to you through you
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
You just have to show up for that. You have to have the courage to not have to let go of the leash that ties you back to that cave. And it's like, well, I'm going to go out of the cave, but only if I have this tether rope. No, let go of the tether. Just go. Freedom is frightening for most people.
It is.
But once you get it, you would never go back to not being free.
Because it's something you don't know. And when I say the old paradigm, we know that paradigm. You go to school, you get a job, you get married. That's what you do.
But see, I think everything is something that I don't know.
And we don't know.
Right. Okay, so people say, well, why do you love the ocean so much? I said, because the ocean never lies to me. Mm-hmm. The ocean doesn't pretend to be a 15-foot wave and it's really a 6-foot wave. It doesn't pretend to be a 3-foot wave and it's really a 6-foot wave. In fact, the ocean doesn't know 6 or 3 or foot or wave. It just is. And when I'm on that wave, I can only respond to what it actually is in that moment, or else I'm going to capsize, or else I'm going to fall over. It's going to knock me on my butt. So I can only be in the moment. I can only be Zen, and that goes back to what is ancient. What is ancient is we weren't rats in a Skinner box, and somebody gave us a pellet every Friday or every 1st and 15th of the month.
Yes, they did.
They didn't do that. No, I'm vegan. So this is the vegan cheetah story. What they're talking about is like, I could never do what you're doing, not knowing whether or not my next month's rent is paid, not knowing where my next paycheck is coming from. And what I found is not knowing if this is the last day I'll be able to sit here and see this view has made this the most precious day in the world. Because it's like the people who say that cancer was a gift. It made me realize how precious every day was. So I'm living in, I don't have cancer. I don't think so.
No.
No, I got too much to do.
Yeah. And speaking of that, just briefly, and we're going to wind this up.
Down or
wind it up, down.
Down.
We're already wound up.
You can edit this all out. I hope you can.
Well, of course.
It'll just be us singing, me saying hi, talking about a hummingbird, and then it's all done.
The jump, you're like, what happened? But I believe that the dis-ease in the body, it comes through the mental dis-ease and stress that we carry. And so you're finding people, when you see people that have had some type of life-threatening dis-ease in their body, they change their mental wiring, which the body heals itself.
Yeah.
This has been proven.
But beyond mental. Mental is to limit it too much.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there is. So you are in something that's equivalent to the sun, and you are the hydrogen is inside and out of you. The energy is inside and out of you, and you're not thinking that you're in the center of this radiant energy, so you feel separate. And that's where the dis-ease comes from. You are not at ease because you do not see that you are being held up by something, that something has your back. The story of Jesus, the stories of St. Francis of Assisi, the story of the Buddha. These were people, at least two of them, that came from wealth and walked away and said, no, it's not about money. It's not about wealth. I can go anywhere, in the world and be fed. I will have enough to eat. I will have everything I need in any given moment. And when you start to believe that you have everything you need
all
now,
the time, right now,
in this any given moment,
in this very moment,
there's nothing holding you back except your list. And I bet you can come up with 100 reasons why you can't do it right now. But try to challenge yourself to come up with 10.
Well, and I'm going to put on to that when having everything that you need right now, the reason that you would want anything is because it would make you feel good. And you can feel good in this very moment. The feeling vibration that you carry, I think we send out a frequency. And when your frequency that you send out is filled with fear and anger and negativity, then you have a path that takes you on a treacherous road. And I get it. It's almost appealing to think negative because we've thought that way for so long.
Well, you also know it, though. You know how that turns out.
Yeah, you do. And it's kind of comforting.
Don't know. Stop knowing.
Yeah. In the don't know, that's a whole nother world.
Right.
That's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
So, in closing, what do you want to say to the people out there?
Well, if you have everything that you need right now, and you have the faith in yourself, and the faith in yourself comes from believing that you deserve it. And she said, it's about feeling good. Well, when I think of the word good, I think of the word God, and you're just smearing it around. And as you smear it around, it turns, there's two O's, and it just spread out, and there's the word good that happens as a result of that. If you are letting God flow through you, if you are letting the energy of love flow through you, who has the most cookies? The baker. The baker has the most cookies. He doesn't eat all of them, but he gets to smell all of them, he gets to make all of them, he gets to give them all away. Love is about what you give away. It's not something that comes in. And I wrote a poem ages ago and have so many people who have a hard time grasping it, but it was called Grateful for a Broken Heart. And say, how can, no, I could never do that. I could never be grateful for a broken heart. Hearts are meant to flow. Things that are fluid, right? Things that are fluid and elastic and resilient don't break. So what broke? The hardened shell that I put around my heart to protect it. Stop protecting your heart. Your heart is indestructible. Your heart is the source. Your heart is God. And you really think that God gets destroyed. God's not destructible. You are not destructible. Your indestructible thing, the thing that was made in its own image, is where you need to flow from and let go of the fear that there won't be enough, and trust in yourself being here as part of that, and find why you're here. Why, when there was that big long zigzag line at the airport and there was one more seat left on the plane to Earth, and you said, oh God, I'll go.
That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. We got to sing our song out.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you start.
Start? Okay.
Yeah.
Sumayogo, Suyogong, we are shaking the tree. Bum bum ba-dum bum, ba-dum bum ba-dum. Sumayogo, Suyogong, we are shaking the tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sumayogo, Suyogong, we are shaking the tree. That's right. We are one. We hold a vision. We are creating our here and now. Just you and me. Just you and me. Thank you for joining me on Pass the Mic, and I will see you